There is another Islamic nation which is right on the tenterhooks right now, and they are not Sunni, they're largely Shia, but they have now got the ire of the world, and more importantly, the President of the United States, Donald Trump. Iran is on the tenterhooks as more than 2,000 people have died, 3,500 have been injured, and 18,000 have been detained. Now, last reports suggest, and these are now unconfirmed viewers, that that number, that is the death toll, could be as high as 12,000 because there are reports of unabated firing at protesters using military equipment. They've just been shot point blank in cold blood and across districts and across cities of Iran. That's the report. Now, internet shutdown continues for over 130 hours. Anti-Khamenei protesters to be hanged in Iran. Irfan Soltani, an Iranian protester, is facing execution as authorities move to carry out what rights groups fear would be the first hanging linked to the protests in the nation. US President Donald Trump, in a fresh warning to the Khamenei regime, has asked protesters to continue the protests and occupy government buildings and claimed that US aid is reaching Iran soon. Reza Pahlavi, the exiled prince of Iran, has said the world is watching the courage of the Iranian people and that the criminals in Iran will surely be punished soon. The Ministry of External Affairs issuing an advisory for Indian nationals against traveling to Iran amid ongoing unrest, and also urging those in Iran to try and take the first flight back if possible. There are nearly 10,700 Bharatiya in Iran at the moment, as per the official records. Now, Iran, meanwhile, has warned US allies in the Middle East that it will strike American bases if they're on their soil if United States attacks Iran. Iran has formally complained to the United Nations over remarks by Trump, rebuking him for threatening military action and inciting rioters to take control of state institutions. Some personnel have been advised to leave the US military's Al Udeid air base in Qatar by evening. Iran-US lines of communication have been suspended as attack fears grow. Are things just on the brink of going kinetic, viewers? That's the big question. Something's going to give over the next 48 hours. Zahak Tanveer, geopolitical commentator, Dr. Ranganathan with us. But first, going across to Ambassador Rajiv Dogra. How do you see the situation developing? Bharat issuing the advisory means something's happening.
Well, exactly, because India or Bharat is normally very conservative in issuing such advisories. But at the same time, if worse comes to worse, then India steps forward to rescue the national stranded in a foreign country and a difficult situation. In this case, as you said very rightly, there are 10,000 plus Indians. Fortunately, no one has been injured, no one has been hurt, despite the very, very disturbing news coming out of Iran, where some reports suggest that soldiers are firing directly onto the chest of the protesters. Now, the larger question here, Anand, which you raised, concerns the people of Iran. Now, this is a situation instigated by Israel and encouraged by Trump. People have been made to go onto the streets without any real support from either Israel or USA so far. So they are in fact the front line of protest against the Iranian regime, which is normally the case, but here they are being led to slaughter. And there is no surety that Trump will eventually send in his forces. There are indications that forces are getting ready. They're just waiting for orders from Trump. But what thereafter? I mean, there are also reports that there are American aircraft, perhaps even soldiers in Balochistan, and Pakistan is fully cooperating with Americans in this. But once again, this issue is that unless there are boots on ground and unless they can wipe out the entire Iranian leadership, they are not going to surrender.
True. See, Ambassador Saab, like you said, 1 million bus militia, 150,000 IRGC. This is what is the fierce loyalty to the Khamenei regime. Now, even if America decides to strike Iran, where will they strike, Zahak Tanveer? What are they going to bomb?
Yeah, thank you, Anand, for having me on the show. As we were talking about the regime change in Iran, the first strikes, which are expected to happen on Tehran and Isfahan, most probably. So, and one more important thing which we have to also discuss about is today we have seen that in Kashmir, in Kargil, people were protesting in support of the Khamenei regime. And it reminds us of what happened during the 1940s when the Turkish Caliphate was about to be dismantled, and there were protests and support happening inside India. So this is also something which Indian government and Indian establishment has to also think about. And a second interesting thing here is that Saudi and Qatar and Oman are lobbying with the Trump administration to stop the strikes against Iran. And their argument is that if this happens, then there will be oil economy disturbance happening throughout the West Asia and the Middle East. And when we talk about from the Indian perspective, whether it's the Muhammad Shah regime or the Khamenei regime, the Shah regime has been secular and it does not have any religious strings attached. But when we compare it with the Khamenei regime, we see that though Khamenei regime helps us in containing the Pakistani influence, but it has the religious strings attached to it, and also the tariffs and the sanctions problem and issues attached to it. I think with the regime change, if a secular or more kind of non-religious government comes in Iran, it will be pro-India to have a to have that IMEC, the Economic Corridor project. It will be very conducive for India as well. The last thing which I would definitely like to mention here is that to ask the questions to the left ecosystem, which has been protesting for Palestine, for Gaza, and we have seen them protesting for in front of the Zudio and Mahindra and McDonald's. Where are all those BDS movements and the SIO, student Islamic organizations, and all those groups who are not supporting the common people in Iran? The common people are getting killed, they are getting detained, they are getting killed brutally, but the left ecosystem is dead silent.
Is the left's ecosystem Islamic or Sunni? So that's another question, because large part of Iran is Shia. So is that the sectarian divide in the left ecosystem, or is it something else, Dr. Ranganathan?
The left is left. No, but look, the Trump regime, especially the president, first Venezuela, now possibly Iran, is going one by one after the rogue nations. Pakistan ka number kab aayega, I want to ask. Yeah, kabhi aayega ki nahi aayega. But look, to be serious, this regime...
You clean the doormat last.
Well said, touche. I think the fact of the matter is that this is an evil dictatorial regime. And I'm not just saying this because of the kind of obnoxious comments Khamenei has been making regarding the Muslims and their status in India and on Kashmir. Their stand, it's all right. Any nation is free to take whatever stand they wish to take, or support Pakistan or support insurgency in other countries. That's their... But the fact of the matter is that the brutal suppression of their own people, this should have been held as a mirror. And I see a lot of Muslims in India, especially Zach talked about, there are protests already erupting in Kashmir. And remember, the same protest that erupted after Nasrallah, the terrorist, was eliminated by Israel. What relation do we have with terrorists and this evil regime that you would hold protest marches out here? Please, the moment you make it about religion, then be prepared for the blowback as well. You are the ones who are making it about religion. This is not about religion right now, because the Iranians who are protesting, I dare say 99.9% of them are also Muslim. The fact of the matter is, it's not, even though they might like to proclaim that the lion as the symbol now, and you've removed the Islamic symbol and we go back to, King Darius or the Persian. The people who are protesting on the streets, the people who are getting killed are Muslims. They're not Persians in that sense. They're not Parsis. So the fact of the matter is that there are Muslims who have had enough of, surprise, surprise, an evil dictatorial Islamic regime. Now the fact is that if external powers do not act, Iran, the regime, is just too powerful to quell this, like China quelled the Tiananmen Square protest. So I think external forces have to come in if they do decide to come in. But if they do, then Is there
Yeah,
a
but-
charter that Trump has made as to which are the rogue nations that are worth going
No,
after?
it's not even the charter. See, one of the things is that a lot of people in Jammu and Kashmir, if you say especially in Kashmir, they are Shia. Ambassador Rajiv Dogra, you could correct me, and they have ancestral leanings, roots with Iran, and there is a certain history that is there, even from say 300 to 500 years. So there is still that whole thing, the Sayyadis coming from there, etc., and their Iranian roots or Iranian connections. A lot of them students who go to study there, who have studied there. There is some linkage. Now, whether or not it's political, it's religious, that's a different point. The other thing is, if the Americans decide to attack Ambassador Rajiv, where will they do it from? Because there are about 40,000 troops stationed, but there are no aircraft carriers in the Gulf. Are they? Then they will have to fly over Jordan. They'll have to get the buy-in of the Oman region, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. All of them will have to be agreeable. Egypt, or along with, of course, Israel. But all these nations will have to say, all right, go ahead, use our airspace, go and bomb Iran. Again, I'm going to ask you, where are they going to? Going to bomb a city, but how are they going to target this bust militia and the IRGC? They control, the Khamenei's control everything there. 30 to 40% of their economy also is directly under the Khamenei regime control and the Khamenei family. Yes, please.
Well, the issue, I mean, I touched upon it in my first response, that you need boots on ground in case you want to overwhelm a country. And America has proved that sometimes you don't need boots on ground. I mean, their operation in Venezuela was picture perfect. But Iran is a different kettle of fish because China is involved. China has made one statement and thereafter it has kept quiet. It said we will give all the support necessary, be it financial, defense, or whatever. We will not allow America to attack Iran, otherwise the consequences will be great. The second is America does have the capacity to wipe out the entire Revolutionary Guard leadership and the political leadership. They already have fixed targets, courtesy Iran, courtesy some of the dissidents and so on. So I would not underestimate American ability to make an overwhelming show of force. But whether they are successful remains open to doubt. The second thing is, there was a mention about Qatar, Saudi Arabia, perhaps Bahrain should be included in this, because there are large elements of Shia population in these countries, in Saudi Arabia in particular, in the oil-producing part of Saudi Arabia. Bahrain is overwhelmingly Shia. So is Iraq. So there are issues that have been flagged to Americans that, look, it's not going to be confined only to Iran. There could be a spillover. In Pakistan, the Shia population is 12%. In India, besides Kashmir, there are Shias also, very important Shias in Lucknow. In fact, from Lucknow, the original Khamenei went and his family went to Iran. So Shia is a very committed kind of religious sect, and it is anti-Sunni in many ways, and it is also very aggressive. Iran had held on against America and Iraq much before the first Gulf War and second Gulf War, and it had stood its own. So I would not go by what happened when Israel and America attacked Iran recently. This time it could be different because Russia and China are fully backing Iran.
Just very briefly, Anand, you were right about aircraft carriers not being there in the Gulf, but there are 3 US destroyers in the Persian Gulf right now, including Roosevelt. So I don't think firepower is there that would worry Trump right now. I mean,
Well, it's going to worry the Khamenei regime because unless there is a groundswell, the kind that we are witnessing, and this is also unprecedented. We've seen protests on the hijab thing and all of that. There was a lot of internet, social media buzz, but this is on ground. They may launch counter protests, but if 30 to 40% or if not more than that of the population is upset because of the way the regime has been unable to manage the economic strife in the country, You know, just as now, as I was just checking, $1 is 1.46 million real. That's how much their currency is devalued. It's gone. And they can't, how much of Chinese yuan are they going to spend? And with these special sanctions, again, that's also not going to come. So this economic strife and penury is going to perhaps further add to the frustration of the people, and that's not going to be easy for the Khamenei regime to manage, even if they control 30 to 40% of the economy. So something's going to give on the next 36 to 48 hours. We'll wait and watch. Thank you, gentlemen. Always a pleasure to have you here on The Right Stand. Thank you for watching, viewers. Namaste.